Biden is now asking Congress for $98 billion. Let's just say 100, round it up. These $100 billion will go to Ukraine and to Israel, and half of them will actually go to replenishing the stocks of the US military. Now, did I tell you this was going to happen or not? When European countries or the United States gave some of their weapons, whether it's artillery shells, 155 millimeter, mortar shells, or Challenger tanks or Abrams, doesn't matter. They were emptying their stocks. Whether these are new weapons or out of date weapons is not the point. The point is they have to be replenished. They must be replenished. They must get new tanks to replace the ones they gave Ukraine, or new artillery shells to replace the artillery shells they gave Ukraine, etc. What does that mean? That means that the weapons industry is making money both in the short and the long term. In the short term, because some of the orders, for example, that are placed for tanks or for shells, like in Pennsylvania, there's a plant that makes artillery shells. It's the largest in the US. The Pentagon gave it billions of dollars to upgrade the plant so they can produce more shells, but they still won't catch up to the Russians. So, but in any case, their infrastructure in the weapons industry, right now, they're profiting from it. Just getting money like that. In the long run, you're seeing things like this where, after a certain number of months or years, European and Western countries that supplied Ukraine have to replenish their stocks, and now they need to order new ones, right? So, on one hand, they get newer weapons in their barracks and in their aircraft carriers and airfields and in their bunkers and in their storage and stocks. And then on the other hand, they also make money for their friends in the weapons industry. So it's a racket. It's all a racket. Now, the fact that they've switched with the media coverage so quickly from Ukraine and forgotten about it as quickly as they mentioned it and gone to Gaza now is because they're also making money there. Remember, Israel is supplied by the United States, and now Biden is trying to get more money to the Israelis. Way more. Remember, even if you say just 25% of the 100 billion are going to Israel, let's say a quarter, just a quarter, it's 25 billion. Do you know the deal Obama made in 2016? He signed an agreement giving Israel 38 billion over 10 years. So can you imagine Israel getting 25 billion just like that, for example? Any amount is going to be colossal. And, it shows you also that the United States are directly involved in this conflict and have been for ages. I mean, this is nothing new, but I'm just pointing that out because it warrants repeating. So, the media profit, they like war, and the weapons industry are profiting because they're also now giving weapons and getting weapons to the Israelis. And, this is a fight for survival for the West, because Israel, yes, many of the American politicians are Zionists, but they are also desperate to cling on to Israel because they need a sphere of influence in the Middle East. Without Israel, America has no influence in the Middle East except maybe through Saudi Arabia, but that's not the same because, Palestine, yes, Palestine doesn't have oil like Saudi Arabia, but it doesn't matter. It's an important crossroads, just like Syria is, okay? It's right in the heartland. It's right in the middle of the Arab world. And they've been using Israel to drive a wedge through the Arab world and fracture it, make sure it stays divided, because it would be a superpower. And it was united for centuries. And they carved it up, divided it, because that's how they work. It's divide and conquer to weaken any potential competitors. It's not like, the Arab world was a threat to Washington. No, it's the other fucking way around. Washington is a threat to the Arab world. And just like London is, just like Whitehall. So they want to keep them down, right? Keep them divided so they can't unite and be a potential rival on the world stage. And with Israel gone, the Israeli settlers gone back home to Europe, this will create different conditions. Even with Israel in the picture, Nasser, and the Pan-Arab movement still had a go at it. It didn't succeed, unfortunately, but, it would be much easier. So this will have huge consequences, and good consequences for the Middle East, for its economy, its morale, its society. People will be able to live in goddamn peace without having Israel occupying 3, 4, 5 countries at the same time, right? So America, Britain, Europe, they need to keep Israel afloat to maintain a sphere of influence, okay? Saudi Arabia is a different, beast that we're talking about here. It's a different, it's influence of a different kind. But even the Saudis now with China, you see that they are veering and pivoting towards the east. I told you, I've been telling you this for 2 years now, almost 2 years since this Ukraine war began. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, they wanted to make sure the whole planet stays under Western control, and by squeezing so tight, they caused the opposite.